Thank you for being here with me today as we sink into another level of embodied divinity. Today, I just want to talk about what it truly means to be with what is, to be with whatever comes up, whatever's present for you now, whether it's filled with pleasure and bliss or aches and pains and grief. As a collective, we have been going through it. Many of us started down this road a decade ago. And throughout that decade, waves and waves of people have been awakening more and more. We saw another huge wave of people in 2020. We're seeing another huge wave of people now. And what it really means is the ability to step away from being so entrenched in the mind and being able to have that awareness that you are in fact the observer, the one observing your thoughts, the one observing your body, the one observing your emotions. And it's from that higher state of awareness that this reality begins to unfold as a powerful teacher. We can learn from any experience, any emotion, any trial, any obstacle. It's what we do with what life hands us that creates our reality. It's how we respond to life happening for and through us. We can view this world through a lens of victimhood, of harshness, of brutality, or we can view it through a lens of love and acceptance. It doesn't mean if you view it through love and acceptance that you're okay with whatever's going on, but it does mean that you accept it, you open to it, you embrace it. So today we're going to focus more on what it looks like to open, to embrace, to honor some of the harder, heavier feelings. I'm witnessing my family move through a lot of grief right now. I'm feeling my own grief, my own sorrow, my own sadness. And the world as a collective is experiencing some powerful tower moments, some moments where everything's falling, nothing looks the same. Relationships are falling apart. We're losing loved ones at a higher rate. There's so much loss, so much perceived separation here. And I want you to notice the words that I just used, perceived separation. And I want you to remind you that as we dive into this, you are never separate from source. You are literally an extension. That's what this higher consciousness is. We are an extension of source energy having these human experiences. And with each human experience, source evolves through us because we are a part of source. Imagine if source is my hand. Every finger is having its own experience, but it's coming back in to this one piece and part of me. Eckhart Tolle compares it to the ocean. Every wave is having its own experience and it can perceive itself as separate, but in the end and in the always, it's part of the big expansive ocean. That's what we are to source having these experiences. And it's only when we take them personally and we create stories in our mind that they create really deep suffering, that we sink into a state of victimhood and thinking life is happening to us, that we are being punished or that we are unworthy or that we somehow caused it. Life is hard sometimes for every human, and life is easy sometimes for every human. But like I said, it's how you respond to life happening for you that makes all of the difference. For me right now, what it looks like to be sitting with my grief, my sadness, my sorrow, my longing, is I'm observing the way my heart aches when I see my family cry. I'm experiencing the way it feels inside When I think of never having another moment on this earth, physical experience with my grandfather, my heart aches when I think of never being able to hug his vessel again. And I'm able to step back and observe that grief, to allow it to take up all the space it wants to inside of me, and to honor it and to see it as a beautiful blessing, a deep appreciation for the love that I have for him, a deep appreciation for the love that I have for my mom, my parents, my siblings, all mourning, all sitting with this sense of fear, of perceived loss. And because I'm open to it, because I can let it allow itself to move through me, to take up life within me, I can experience it fully. I'm not shutting it down and resisting. I'm not creating all of the different energies of resistance or clinging. I'm simply able to be there. And that allows me to serve. It allows me to serve myself. It allows me to serve my parents with an open heart. And it allows me to sink into oneness, to know that I'm never truly alone, that I'm not ever going to lose my grandfather, that his consciousness, whether he's in his human vessel or whether he chooses to transition, his consciousness will always reside here within me and around me, because we are all connected as one. Grief is proof of the deep love that I had and have. Grief is proof of the way that we care for something or someone, whether we're grieving parts of ourselves or another human. Grief is showing us how deep that love ran. It's not something to run from. And grief might be easier to wrap your head around, but it's the same thing with physical pain. It's the same thing with anger. It's the same thing with fear. It's breathing into it, knowing the source is simply having this experience of sensations through you. That it's, as we embrace it, we can actually be enlivened and excited by it. I can be excited that I've never felt this level of grief in this way before. I can be excited that I've never experienced fear at this capacity. If my anger arises, I can embrace my anger, knowing that it is a part of my energy responding to love in that way. Love is the only true frequency that exists. But the way that we respond to the love that is present brings up these different emotions inside of us. What is happening in my life currently is love, because what is here now in this present moment is love. And I can choose to respond to that love. Maybe it inflames my different emotions, and some of them come out as anger or resentment or denial or grief or sadness or angst. It's simply the response that I'm having to the love that is present here now. And I can always deepen that love. I can always deepen into gratitude, into appreciation, while still feeling and honoring all that is present within me now. Because one thing is for sure, we have no power to change what is happening here now, arguing with it, resisting it. If I were to sit here and fight the grief, fight what's happening with my grandfather, fight what's happening with my family, the only thing that it would do is create a stifle on that energy. It would cap it off. It would make it so that I was lost in the ego, in the stories, in the illusion of all of it. When we resist or we cling, if I was clinging to my grandfather's life, or if I was resisting his death, I would create stories. I would try to control. But instead, being in this surrendered state of allowing whatever to happen, I can be there. And I can take aligned action, which right now looks like supporting my family, honoring my own grief, taking time to sit in deep reflection, to meditate with the higher consciousness of myself and my grandfather. Whatever circumstance you're living through, experiencing, whether it's good or bad, whether it's heavy or light, easy or painful, you can sit with it, fully embrace it. And from that state of being surrendered to whatever is happening now through you and for you, when you can clear your mind and align with your heart, you will know the aligned action to take. If you're lost in the suffering, if it feels like there's no way out, breathe and open to whatever is. I remember maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I was really struggling. I wanted to take my business to the next level. I had enough to support my family, but not enough to invest in the things that I needed. I was feeling this deep resistance. I was constantly struggling. I was trying to hustle, to fix it, to come up with all these things. And it was in the moment when I simply declared what I wanted to feel and experience. And I sat back and I let myself be with whatever is. I could see clearly the ways I was controlling, the ways I was resisting, the way that I was clinging to a certain amount of wealth. And I could see the way that that was blocking my vision to break through. And so I simply sat back and I said, I'm going to be okay with whatever is here now. And I'm going to feel within my body, within my spirit, this energy that's present here now. And I'm going to keep my eyes, my intention on the feelings that I desire while honoring the place and the circumstance that are within me now. And I let life teach me how to let go, how to sit, how to be with. And I showed up in all the ways that I knew how without trying to create anything, simply what felt inspired. If I remember right, I think I went live on a teaching for 30 days straight. I wasn't trying for any sort of outcome. I was just showing up with what inspired me in the moment. I talked about the struggle. I talked about the fear. I was very authentic, and I ended up getting double the clients that I envisioned in that period without trying and hustling and trying to figure out all the ways, but simply taking inspired action after surrendering to what my current circumstance was. And it felt so much better in my body and in my system. And when we feel good in our body and in our system, when we can breathe into all of the feelings, all of the experiences, that's how we can learn. But we've got to stop resisting what is here now, because that is life unfolding for us. The present moment is such a precious gift. And when we can hold it and be with it, we really truly get to experience life. If I was sitting here now trying to get rid of the grief, trying to avoid it, trying to hide from it, trying to find a different vibrational feeling, I'd be missing out on this beautiful sensation. It's absolutely uncomfortable. And it's teaching me every day how to hold this capacity of love, how to really be in my human nature while connected to Source, how to serve unconditionally without a need or a want for anything in return, and knowing that as I sit with this, I am loved and held and supported. Miracles happen, miracles are created. And it's from holding that container that I continue to create ease in my life. That there's still a flow of support for my business, of clientele, even as I'm in this period of more of isolation and really giving my time and energy to my kids and my family. I've been supported by the universe every step of the way because I haven't been worried about the circumstances or the outcomes of my action. I've been alive in the moment, being able to shut down certain parts of my daily tasks, being able to set aside things I was doing before and simply embrace what is here now. I've seen an expansion and flow in the other parts of my life as I'm still here holding the feelings that arise within me now. And I want you to know that that's possible for you, whatever you're experiencing. If right now you are experiencing miracle upon miracle, don't think about what's next. Be with it here now. The awe, the wonder, the gratitude of how beautifully and perfect life is unfolding for you. If you're experiencing hardship upon hardship, simply be with it here now, embracing the beauty and miracles that life is showing you here now. Because even in the harder parts, our contrast, the contrast and heaviness we feel is simply showing us what we desire more of. This grief is showing me that I desire more love. Witnessing certain family members be there for one another shows me that, and witnessing certain family members shut down and isolate their spouses or other people show me what I do not want. And I'm not in a place of judgment of what others are doing, but I am in awareness and discernment for what I desire for me. And I'm allowing life to show me all of this. I'm allowing the way that my grandfather lived his life and seeing the support and love he has around him now teach me and move through me. We can learn from every single moment. We can find gratitude and appreciation in the contrast and in the smoothness. It's all here happening for us if we allow it to. So breathe into this moment, whatever you're experiencing now. Fully embrace it, fully honor it. And as you turn within and ground yourself into the beauty of it all, you will be inspired to move even deeper into alignment with yourself. You will be inspired with the next right steps. And you can continue to trust what is here and now. I love you all so much. Thank you for being with me on this journey. Thank you for honoring yourself, for taking this time to invest in your own healing journey, to receive the message that is here for you. I love you. Breathe deep, plan on miracles, and I'll see you next week.